Last time on a very special Crusty Old Crow. Murder! Of who, you ask? His former friend and companion, and his channel partner of over 1 year and 300 videos.
That was his addiction. I
Crusty.
couldn't deal with that anymore either. Anyways, I decided I would just incorporate the best of Crusty into myself. You know what I mean? I don't need him here bringing me down. He's my creation. I'm not his. I'm the real person, Crusty. I'm the real person here. You're just a bird.
The new Toy-Con convention drug, Dark Energon Bam Bam, introduced by Dr. Mindmember, had claimed 2 more victims, Crow and Crusty.
Old Crow without the Crusty? Guess we're gonna find out.
Crow was unaware that Crusty was also trying to dispose of him, having slipped in Dark Energon Bam Bam. And now Crow is seeing police everywhere, paranoid.
Screw this. I gotta see what Google says about it. Crows protected. Oh, yes. Protected species. Up to 20 years ago. Crap! Well, it seems like the only smart thing to do now is to go dig them up. I mean, no body, no crime, right? Protected friggin' species? Really? Oh.
I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to lose it all, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to lose it all, but in the end, it doesn't even matter.
Oh, that's interesting. Y'all came back. Hey guys, Crusty Old Crow here to do another semi-tactical perspective. It's part 2 of the examination into the Valaverse figures from Action Force that I picked up during the Joe Fest extravaganza that I was on. You guys remember Joe Fest? It was this little thing they had in Augusta, Georgia, and a bunch of YouTube content creators made a bunch of silly videos, except for me, who had no good videos to make because I was just so overwhelmed by everything that was going on. Be it meet the other content creators or see the other figure lines. I lost track of a lot of stuff, and especially the difference between the two internets, between the hotel and its convention center. So I bought a bunch of Valaverse, as did Aaron the Toy Enhancer. You can watch us both do our reviews on them. And we're having a great time getting into this. We're overwhelmed again by the number of figures we brought back, because we brought back Delta 17, we brought back Valaverse, we brought back Joe, I brought back a NECA, he brought back a Nezco. We all brought back stuff, and it's going to take us a while to get all these reviews out, but I had to get these Valaverse figs out. Right? I'm not doing a full tactical perspective. That's from my classified collection. That's where I do that. That's why I started it. It was to apply it to my classified collection. But I will do a semi-tactical perspective on these. I have a lot of respect, especially for this particular figure, but for the others that you saw the reviews on earlier in part 1, where I did Sergeant Slaughter and Duster, I was explaining to you, these are impressive. Okay, all dramatics and theatrics and debacles aside, I'm liking these things. I don't care about the company animosity or the designer stories and things like that. These are great figs. And Trigger is the favorite that I've gotten so far. So, I didn't do them enough justice just letting them spin on the stand. The other day, I had to get some more pictures for Trig. Right? But I decided to tell you a little story about, maybe it's mine who's screaming eagles. On a task to get trouble, get what it is to get Chuckles out of hot water, really. That's what I picture this photo story is. Chuckles, he's in deep, and it's a ticking clock before there is no more Chuckles, right? But maybe my Endstate Screaming Eagles, of all these variety characters that I picked up on the way, and just a place to place them on my shelf, call them the Screaming Eagles, and it's good. That actually worked well into the Valaverse lore. Turns out Valaverse has a great continuation story from the Joe lore that went from 82 to 94, and they did their own thing with it. And much like what a lot of us do, it's a America loses kind of situation, and there's a big change, right? And this is where the Valaverse universes happen. Mine is where Cobra got exactly what it was after, and then more, and we have to live with that in a dystopian world called Endstate, right? They parallel well, and they use Screaming Eagles so well, so will I, and so they will join my Screaming Eagles to go try to see if they can get Chuckles out, but they might have to bed themselves with the devil to do it. If you stick around, you'll see that fun. That's just my way of having fun with some of these photos, because we are into year 2, guys. Thank you very much for your support in year 1, as your old crow felt out the channel, felt out the way to do things, and slowly, and still slowly, grows, learns a couple things, and starts applying them, right? So we did a full year of G.I. Joe Classified. You'll pardon me if I broaden my horizons a little. I'm, of course, going to bring you even more Joe Classified than you're expecting. Perhaps some big items have been arranged or will be arranged. I don't know. We'll see. But you're going to see me collect other things. If Patriot Force were ready with their 6-inch when at Joe Fest, I perhaps wouldn't have come back with Trigger. Perhaps I would have come back with a couple of them. But I did come back with Trigger. So we're going to have a look at them. Don't forget, guys, to like, share, subscribe. And we'll see you in the next vid. Have a good one.
All right, guys, here he is. He's the coolest buck in the yard. He's the haul I got. Part of a package deal with a good friend of the channel, Loki Wartooth, who hooked me up so well at Joe Fest. Kept me well on the path of all the big games that I was after in the hunt, and I can't thank him enough. But I had no idea the favor he did when he said, I've got a Trigger for you. Trigger, you are impressive, sir. Good day to you. So Trigger came up in a video I was talking about Leonidas from Delta 17 about the look, all right? And the look is your typical, hardcore movie type, Blackwater style, privatized operator. Is he military? Is he privatized? It's a tight look. He's got those cool ass shades and that well-groomed beard. You know he's using product on that bad boy. That's not a shaving chit, ladies. That's a choice. The man's got no chin underneath that, but that's fine. No chin's a smaller target, and when you take one on the chin, like the way our soldiers do, you want that small target. But anyways, he's got those awesome shades. You can see he's speaking into a mic headset that fits beautifully over the backwards cap. The backwards cap is a part of that head sculpt, and I didn't get another head sculpt with it. But it's a very familiar look from the overseas. Of course, it's got that Action Force logo on that hat. And those headphones perfectly fit around that neck in a series of ways, or over that hat, microphone over mouth. Those are really good headsets. And that's what I should have told you about Duster, what you saw in the accessory photos, probably. He's got some helmets, he's got night vision, he's got headsets. I love the headsets that they do with Valaverse and the Action Force line. They are a key tool. I keep saying comms. First aid and comms, boys. And then ammo. Bring some ammo. And of course, Duster had lots of ammo. Well, so does our buddy here, Trigger. You can see those boxes on his front belly. Those big old boxes are really just formed for like box ammo for things like a saw. Now, if they don't match the box that's on his saw, and that's fine. However, those are the design of those larger forward pouches. They're for a small box of 200 rounds usually, and it's I think it's 10 ball 1 trace with those rounds. It's for indicating fire, suppressing fire, all that other stuff, and Trigger would be loaded up for bear on that. Now you can also see he's probably got that TCCC pouch I talked about just earlier with Duster on there on his left thigh. That's great. And if you look up or down or wherever I put them, I'm showing you some photos of those secondary accessories. I'm a big fan of the pants. I'm a big fan of the muscle shirt. I'm a big fan of the tan with no tats. It's awesome. The real burden of being a special forces espionage behind the scenes, keep my identity a secret guy is you can't have the ink you want, where you want it sometimes, unless you want to change your job because you've just become identifiable. And Trigger blends in well. He's got those tack gloves covering the little flesh on his hands. Whoa, there you go. And of course the crow's gonna have to just freestyle this camera a little bit more because I'm just in love with this figure. It was an awesome thing. And of course I owe Loki just a lot of thanks for hooking me up with this particular Valaverse, because I did not see him at Joe Fest. And like I said during the Duster video, at Joe Fest, me and Aaron the Toy Enhancer went on a bit of a tear looking for some Valaverse to add to our collection, because we wanted to see what was there, because it's easy to get swept up in thinking you have to make a choice between these lines. You do not. Stop it. That's silly. All right, just because some people have harsh feelings about their business affairs doesn't mean you have to get involved. You've got great figures here. So great news came out of Bobby Vala this week. Not only are we getting a new Trigger head sculpt in the pack, we're getting a Trigger re-release So that's going to be awesome. We're going to get an angrier trigger or more combat driven trigger with, again, the hat probably fused to his head again. That's the one thing I would like to see freed up, is a head sculpt without the hat, and maybe the hat free. But that's such a Hasbro thing. They're doing that, and I don't suspect Bobby, Vala, and his team would be as interested in doing it. Just do it, right? But yeah, you're going to get that. But the beautiful thing is Valaverse is also doing hand sculpts now for us conversion guys. And for you guys that want to see him giving everybody the finger or the okay or the thumbs up or what have you, or you want that for any other of your Valaverse figure, or perhaps you even want to try it with other figures from other lines, you can do that. Okay, and that's the fun of collecting in this era, all right? Aren't you guys glad you fell in love with G.I. Joe back in the 80s or the 90s, whenever you did? Aren't you glad that happened? Look at the crap we're getting. This is amazing, and I don't mean crap to be cruel. I mean crap to be like, holy crap, this is awesome, right? I just reviewed 3 great figures from Wave 2 of Valaverse, and I say great as in they gave me a good first impression. All these little opinions, they're out there. Go find them. You know, you have yours. Keep it. It's yours. All right. This was mine, and I stand by it. You know, and that's the beautiful thing about seeing my face. And I'll stand by everything I say. And even if I were to wear a mask because I want to say something ugly, it's all just in fun and just in the enjoyment of the channel, and to just try and put some spice on an opinion, right? That's why guys do it sometimes, and there's a lot of reasons for having these kinds of positive and negative opinion divides. There's different kinds of consumer out there buying these things for different kinds of reasons, guys, and we have to accept that. It's easy for me to sit there and say, well, it's for the love of Joe, and what's wrong with you? Why do you have such grudges against a toy that brings us all such happiness? But is that showing respect to the other collectors out there? Is the community that myopic, that it's all just about love? No. They're too expensive for it always just to be about that, right? Collecting is, it's a little boy's game, it's a big boy's game, it's a girl's game, it's everybody's game. It's a dog's game. It definitely is a bloodhound game where you have to do the hunt. Dog can hunt, right? Hound's gotta hunt. And thank you, Loki, for making it so that I didn't have to hunt Trigger. You just presented him to me beautifully. All right, guys, that's going to be it for Valaverse Action Force figures overall. Like I said, with Duster and Sergeant Slaughter, the tack grade goes to a 5. I'm going to carry that over for our good friend Trigger here. And I'm going to close out on Trigger's file card because it occurs to me I have not read that to you yet. But I didn't cover the play grade for Duster or I think Slaughter or him. And the play grade's going to be a 4.5 out of 5, okay? There are some functions that are a little bit intricate, a lot of loose little pieces that could be easily lost. You have to be familiar with your modern toy lines to really understand that these pieces are meant to be very small, some assembly required, fit testing, heating, all that other stuff. It's not as necessary with a Valaverse figure as I find it is with the classified and retro to use the heating part. But every little figure is going to have something like that. Hey, we're dealing with plastics that are shipping in containers, going through heat temperature changes. You can only assure so much in a plastic coffin like these things. But why don't I close out by telling you about our friend Duster and just tell you that everybody's getting a 4.5 on play grades for the Valaverse Wave 2 figures that I just showed you. And honestly, I'm going to give each of them the, oh my God, that's so effing cool factor of a 10 out of 5 for goddamn file cards, wave release pictures, and a QR code that says what it is and goes exactly where you're thinking it's going to go. These action points and all this. No, it's not original. That's the beauty of it. The original concept creators decided not to do it. Hell. You should always have to be reminded of that regret, Lenny. I don't care if it's not you. Emily, Lenny, Tony, come on. I know I don't want to rub your face in it, but come on. Anyways, let's tell you about Trigger. Okay, so Trigger's real name is Austin Buchanan. His primary specialty is 11 Bravo, automatic rifleman. His secondary skills is 19 Delta Cavalry Scout, so mechanized reconnaissance, guys. He's a
I think that's what the Cavalry Scout, that would be the definition of their mechanized reconnaissance. Hello, I know you. That's 6-0. That's Crow. Let's go on to CAE and 11 Charlie indirect fire infantrymen, which puts them in the league of, most leadership in an infantry section know how to call for, artillery and fast air. And if he's being noted as a specialist in this puts them along the same level as, say, G.I. Joe member Bomb Strike, in that they're a forward area observer qualified and fast air controller and target designator qualified kind of troop a loop here, and that's amazing. That's great. Birthplace is Fort Riley in Kansas, and he is a staff sergeant for Action Force for his rank and affiliation. So it goes on to say, typical Army brat of third generation infantryman, Trigger and his sister spent most of their childhood being shunted from military base to military base. They saw little of their father during his deployments and were raised primarily by their aunt after their mother died. The day after his high school graduation, Trigger enlisted in the United States Army. During Trigger's one tour, he served with distinction while battling pirates in Laos, helping evacuate the U.S. consulate in Panama and participating in hostage rescue operations in Chile. During his actions, Trigger was given a special accommodation and recommended to the 101st Airborne Screaming Eagles by his commander officer. Screaming Eagles. What was I doing? Sergeant Savage and the Screaming Eagles. Well, I guess Trigger's joining my group for Endstate. That's awesome. I love it. I love that I waited to read this. All right. Unfortunately, Trigger's arrival at Fort Campbell coincided with the dissolution of the United States. Trigger opted to remain in Tennessee. 3-star, you see him anywhere? Though a later review of documents reveals that although he continued to serve with the public of Tennessee's military, he neither formally enlisted nor applied for citizenship in the Republic. He was last stationed in Fort Tennyson, formerly NSA Mild South Naval Base, or Mid-South Naval Base, pardon me, before beginning his affiliation with Action Force. Sorry if the camera wasn't centered on him properly for that last part. Okay, so here's what I like about this. You know, at first I sat there and said they only gave him one tour and it was in Laos. And I had to think about it. Well, if this guy's an operator of high caliber and whatnot, and he's probably part of a special task division, and maybe he didn't do what it qualifies as a full tour somewhere. A full tour, at least where we do it, is anything over 6 months, really, is a full tour. You can do partial tours, 3 months for some deployments, depending on the requirement. And I know a lot of Americans do like a full year and things like this, right? So makes sense. Maybe he went on a lot of missions between Afghanistan, Iraq, who knows, Sierra Leone, Africa, everywhere, right? But maybe none of them counted as a tour. Maybe they were just an op, all right? The other parts I liked about this guy is the fact that he's from a military family, so this wasn't really a surprise for him to jump in, and he just kind of knew what he wanted to do. He's got a sister out there somewhere. I wonder if she's got a figure that I'm gonna learn about later. Maybe you guys can tell me in the comments. Which figure should I be after if I'm after Trigger's sister? Fill me in. I don't read the Action Force comics, and you know what? For my own creative brain juices and my Endstate shelf satisfaction, just being Crow, I probably won't learn too much about them outside of reading the file cards as I get them until I'm further into the line and I really want to know. It's enough for me to understand where the spirit of the Valaverse universe is going from, where these figures are fitting in as far as what they want you to picture. I think they've succeeded in a lot of their vision just based off 3 file cards, guys. These are my opinions. I'm very impressed with this line. I give them a 5 out of 5 on the creativity because it was easy to easily just default and go completely clear, Joe, because you want to be outside of it. But they walked that beautiful line where they gave you an all-new batch and array of special military-based characters that fit well with your preferences. Maybe you just want to collect Action Force, you've got a good line. Hell, you got an SUV. Yeah, they call it the soccer mom thing, and it's just recently by request and special request of the friends of the company, It was designed in, there was one made in pink, but now they're doing weathering effects and everything like that. So if you're not a conversion artist, Vala's got you, and they're going to give you a worn version of the Vanguard available for order. The Vanguard may not be your thing, but it's definitely an action force thing unto itself. How it compares to the Vamp to me is irrelevant. I have the Vamp. Will I get a Vanguard? Probably not, but if the opportunity ever came, I can't say I wouldn't examine it. It's got a lot of playability, that Vanguard. There's a lot for me to be interested in Action Force, for sure. And I am slow to the game, and I'm unapologetic about that. Life on life's terms, crow flies when crow flies, right? So, great. I did see the prices attached to some of them, man. That is a deterrent, but I can't say that in the same breath as classified and say there's a difference. I paid a sweet price for a lot of my classified recently too, right? Mindbender was not cheap. A Vamp was not cheap. Major Blood, not bad. And things like that, right? So why would I condemn Valaverse for having some collectability, some exclusivity, some things to get excited about that Hasbro couldn't bring us or wouldn't bring us? Vala brought it. Those handsets are a great idea. Damaged headsets, alternate, things like this, re-releasing, all that stuff. Maybe it's, you know, I think that's another thing I got to give him credit for. G.I. Joe has to do the repaints because the line was out there for all those years, 82 to 94, and you revisited Stalker, what, 4 or 5 times, Gung Ho a few times, Cobra Commander a billion times, Snake Eyes a million times, Roadblock a jillion times. You get where I'm going with this. And yet, so we can expect all these repaints. That's kind of Hasbro's game with Classified. And we're like, okay, yeah, we'll play it. Which repaint are we getting now? Oh, it's Mad Marauders. Okay, we had that. Cool. And that's fine. It's its own thing. But Valaverse sees the figures that did well, I guess, and they talk about things like a reissue. And I wonder what that actually looks like. What does a reissue trigger look like? Is it a repaint or is it the same buck? Is it the exact same as the first issue during Wave 2? Is that something that's common? Do you guys know about this? And if so, if that's the case, I think that's commendable as well. How many guys get on to Classified and have missed the boat for what, 5-6 waves already, and they have to really hunt Serpentor or Cobra Island Roadblock, let's say, or something like that, Cobra Island Firefly? They have to hunt and hunt and hunt. Wouldn't it be nice to know a reissue was coming out? That'd be great. Anyways, I see the distinctions, I see the differences. I hope you guys see that I really don't care about the drama between Bobby Vala, Hasbro creative teams. I take pokes at everybody equally, and moreover, while I take pokes at them all equally, I also have the utmost respect for them all equally. I thank all of them for the product that they give us. Yeah, I'm critical, you're critical, other guys are critical. I can be really negative about stuff. I can be really positive about stuff. Every day is a choice. Every day you feel differently for something. A lot of the time, it depends on what your expectations and needs are, right? I can condemn a lot of people for why they're negative. But again, I go back to what were their needs? Maybe they wanted to involve themselves in a toy line, but they had different kind of boundaries and limitations to how they could collect. Different than my own, different than the ones that we're used to in our little corner of the community, our AOR, Crow Country here, as I like to call it. So maybe in Crow Country, I didn't see all that, but I see it, and it doesn't change my perspective at all. I'm gonna have some fun with poking fun at negativity every now and then, but it's all in good spirit, man. I do respect you other content creators for what you bring to the table. Whether I like it or not, that's fine. And whether I agree with you or solidly disagree with you, I don't want war and drama. I want to have fun. And let's just keep having fun. So, take me with a grain of salt, guys, because year 2 of Crusty Old Crow, you're going to get, you're not going to get the off switch. And I don't have a membership. But I'm going to treat you guys like you're in a membership. I'm going to show you a side of me year 1 was only hinting at. Okay, well, that's warning enough. Time to watch the subscriber rate go down. You guys, have a great day. I'll see you on the next Tactical Perspective. I'd end this with a Yo Joe, but it would seem like a terrible slap in the face after reviewing such fine figures. So, why don't we just say something like, I don't know, Vala ho. Does that work? Vala ho? I don't know.